Hi everybody, welcome back to our YouTube channel, The Baobab. As we continue our journey speaking about international students, I'm receiving today Adeji and Isa to speak about the topic that is very interesting for us as international students and also as Africans. So according to a lot of reviews, there is an increasing number of students coming from Africa to study abroad. So we have seen a lot of students in China, in the United States, in Europe, in Canada, and over and over. So we have decided to go over this situation and to see how, as an international student, we view this situation. I will start with Adeji. Adeji, that's a long time I've seen you. So how have you been?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Thank you for having me once again.
You're very welcome. Isa?
Yes, I'm doing always fine.
Are you guys ready to go over this?
Yeah, I think we're ready because we know this is a very interesting topic, and according to statistics, everything you have said is verified.
Thank you.
And we think it's a very interesting topic, and we would love to really.
I'm glad you guys already like it. So let's go first with the first question of this topic. Adeji, I will start with you. Why there is an increasing number of African students going abroad to study?
Oh yeah, thank you for asking me this question. So from what we've seen that is happening all around the world, African students, they've been going to abroad to study. I believe, in my own opinion, I believe exposure is one of the very, very first thing that, will be considered, because when you travel abroad, we have a couple of African students in United Kingdom, in USA, in Canada, in Australia, and other European countries. Exposure is very, very important. When you study abroad, you get to meet other students from other countries. Mm-hmm. By these, this is an education on its own. Mm-hmm. When you are meeting people, you have people of different diversity and different background. This is an education on its own, So also, there is no doubt about the fact that having certificates, having degrees, having diploma abroad, mm-hmm. it's something that we cherish so much in Africa. Mm-hmm. And we have this preconceived notion that when you study abroad, you will be very, very, you have in-depth knowledge of what you are studying. Mm-hmm. I mean, the course, your major you are studying, you have the in-depth knowledge of it. And so also, when you are talking about job, when you study abroad, there is this on-the-job training that we get to have when we've spent specific amount of years at the colleges or at the university. Mm-hmm. As an international student, you have the opportunity to go for OPT. Mm-hmm. You have the opportunity to go for CPT. These are hands-on experience. These are hands-on training that we do not usually get in Africa. Mm-hmm. So all these things are coupled with a lot of other factors that make us to be stable. Stability is very, very important in life. Mm-hmm. And these are the things that we bring to the table as an African. Mm-hmm. And taking this back home, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
I think thank you, Adeji, for all this, because I think, like you mentioned, that's very interesting reason for somebody to go abroad.
Right.
There is something that maybe I should say, because if somebody went and it didn't work, the second person went, it didn't work, I don't think the third person will go that direction. No. But if we keep going and there is an increasing number, I think there is a reason. And Isa, probably you have some reason to give us.
Okay, thank you so much, Songai, and I really appreciate the question. Also, just before I start giving my opinion about it, I'm going to thanks Adiji for his opinion because I really like it and it's very strong. You know, he pretty much said all of this. So, why there is an increasing number of African students willing to come to Western countries nowadays? I'm going to give, only like two reasons. So mostly it's economical purposes. A lot of African students are willing to come to Western country because back in Africa we do not have so many outcomes for certain majors. There's a lot of major. We have very good teachers, teachers and staff, but some majors do not have so many outcomes. And also one of the reasons why a lot of African students are trying to come to Western country is to get a very high-paying job. Because Africa, you can, get a very strong degree, but it's not going to be, a very high-paying job compared to United States or some European country or Canada, etc. So mostly those are the two reasons that really, motivate me to, that I'm seeing it's a very,
I think it's very interesting. So, Isa,
Okay.
I like how you guys answer that you just gave because as I see it is very interesting. And when we talk about why there is increasing number, probably the reason why you came is not the same reason why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's why we can see multiple reasons, and among them I can see also like I already mentioned it a little bit, the privilege of having the degree from abroad. Right. Like the weight that it has in our society probably drives people to go abroad. Right. Some of the majors, like you guys said, are not probably in our country. When you see some people like going to study the engineering, they want to study the computer, sometimes they think probably I will get more knowledge if I travel abroad,
Yeah.
So, and I think that's very interesting to know these reasons. And let's go to the second topic, second question. My second question will be like, Isa, probably I will start with you. So as people live in the country and they're going to study abroad, do you think there is an advantage for the country to have its citizens going abroad to study?
Oh yeah, for this one I think I'm already I can consider myself already a role model for my for my country and because back home we are studying right here, and I already got my degree and so on. Every time I go back to my countries, I'm helping and bringing my support. Support is not only economical, but it's also some knowledge. I'm also supporting my country, trying to build some knowledge, trying to solve some some issues like the country is trying to solve some problems. You
have the added value.
The value. You're coming to United States, you're gaining a lot of knowledge, and also you're making manners because after your degree you will get a high-paying job. And once you go back home, you're using your knowledge to solve problems and also using your economical advantage to also contribute to solve a lot of problems.
Thank you, Isa. That's really, I think, like you said, there is an advantage for the country to have its citizens abroad studying. So, what's your viewpoint on that?
Well, I believe there are a lot of advantages of students coming from Africa to study abroad. First and foremost, apart from the fact that wherever we find ourselves as an African, we are considered to be an ambassador of wherever we come from. So that alone is something that the country we are from should be proud of. So having said that, a whole lot of statistics have shown that immediately after an international student finished their school and got a job, the remittance of the money they acquire here, like 40% of it is sent back home, which also improves the economy of our country. So that cannot be
great impact.
It has a lot of impact on our country. So also where I'm from, a lot of our leaders, Nigeria. I can tell you 60% of our leaders, they probably studied abroad, one way or the other. Some have their first degree in abroad. Some have their second degrees. Some have their professional degrees in abroad. And taking it back home, it's something that is, very, very, helps the country a lot. So a lot of infrastructural developments here in abroad, in United States, Canada, UK. These, when we are exposed to all these infrastructural developments, taking back the ideas to Africa in developing our country, it's something that I think it's happening very, very well now. Human development, yes. You can rest assured a lot of technocrats are studying here in abroad and taking it back home to improve, the career development of people back home, to improve, a whole lot of things. So, what people studying abroad, what they take back home cannot, be overemphasized. It's a whole lot of benefit to our home country. Yeah. So
thank you very much. I think there is like you guys mentioned, I was looking to the first of all, you said something, to begin, you said we are the ambassadors of our countries here.
True.
And there is a story behind it, for myself, when I came here, I went to wait first. When I went there was like the Togo flag, and I found it there because some of my brothers already go through way,
Right.
When I moved to Wayne State College, there wasn't the Togo flag.
Oh, yeah.
That first of all, they were trying to show me the Togo, and then they didn't find the Togo flag. And that year, they brought the Togo flag because, they find a student from Togo. And every time here, when I'm referring to you as a Nigerian.
Right.
And when I'm referring to Issa, I said, okay, people from Burkina Faso. And the same as you guys, calling me somebody from Togo.
Yeah,
and this, coming to this, it show how ambassadors we are when we live in abroad.
Representing our country from abroad.
Thank you. I think there is if you guys have something to add on these advantages, so I can leave you. Otherwise, we can move to another one.
One advantage that I'm planning to highlight is because back home we do not have a lot of infrastructures to build, a great university. Even if we have, some great university around. So the number of students really
outweigh
outweigh, and also it exceed the number of available seats for university, etc. So the extra students sometimes, even if you go if you go to YouTube or some social media, you will find that in some university, they do not have enough space for all students, and some students are forced to be sitting on the ground, to be taking notes and stuff. So the number of students, most African countries, the majority of African countries, the number of students exceeds the number of seats. So what are the extra students are going to do? Sometimes it's also good, to have those extra go abroad to look for some knowledge. Even if they are not coming back, at least they are not really, making, how I'm going to explain this one.
It's like
they are not really making the education very hard for teachers to.
I have another point to add here. In recent time, the last time I went to Nigeria, even our university community, you will find out that 60% of the lecturers, instructors, teachers they have in the university community even studied abroad. So one way or the other, it is even improving the standard of our education in Africa, because when we have, lecturers, instructors, teachers that studied abroad, they tend to impact the knowledge on students in Africa the way that they've been impacted here in abroad. So it is really affecting our country positively, which is something that is good for Africa.
You see, when you were speaking about it, I remember something that mostly when you can hear from Africa, when we always start speaking about the skills, African skills, that our government should use our local, skills to develop our country. Back in the day, we used to go when we need looking for the skills to go buy them abroad and to bring them to work for us. Either the engineers or the doctors, we get them from abroad.
Right.
But now, because most of our people, our citizens studying abroad, we have the people who have the same knowledge that we used to buy, so they can work locally, and then they can reduce the cost of our government.
That's
I think this is very beneficial for our countries to have the students abroad.
Yeah.
So going through that, probably I will move to my next question, because we have seen there is advantage, of course. Should we say like all is advantage, or there is some risks or some negative impact for a country to have its citizens going abroad to study?
Yeah, I would say there are some, adverse, effect of mass migration of African students to abroad, because obviously there has been a complaint of brain drain in the society. A whole lot of jobs now complain about the fact that a lot of employees now migrate abroad for higher education, for their master's degree. It is having a kind of impact on our, our human, development back in Africa. And so also, I feel there is lesser integration of people that are educated and people that are not so educated. The integration, the integration is not that as vibrant as it used to be. Now there has been a lot of segregation between people that are studying abroad and people that are not studying. People that studied in Africa.
Locally.
That is something that I don't feel comfortable about. As far as I'm concerned, it is about individual, but of course it cannot be overlooked. So these are the things that I feel that is affecting us in Africa. The brain drain is just getting so much.
It is interesting to know that.
Yeah, the only solution is we going back as soon as we have a whole lot of exposure, we have our money, we have our degrees, we are, we should take it back home and develop our nation.
That's it.
Isa, what about you?
Yeah, I think, because this one I noticed it, and it's a very, huge problems. So one of the disadvantages that I'm planning to highlight is like we African students studying in Western country, we are getting some knowledge, and we are making sometimes good manners, getting good job, and getting a lot of knowledge and stuff. But the problem is once we go to Africa, so does those knowledge always fit into African reality? Like the issue, the problem that African country are facing, the knowledge that we gain in developed country, abroad. So is always feeding, is not always applying into feeding the reality of African problems and stuff. Sometimes when we come, we can figure out that the knowledge that we gain is not really useful. If we use those knowledge, is not really solving African country. Like you can even see the political headmasters, the president, ministers and stuff. So they are not, most of them are not really doing a wonderful job. And sometimes if you check out African history, the great presidents are mostly trained locally. So they did not study abroad. So these are the things that
I think you guys mentioned a lot of things that are very important, especially with the last time you said, because people sometimes it's good to have the knowledge, but the most important is if your knowledge has the value in your country, so that if you study a lot with the machines, that you
understand the reality. Because the knowledge that the teaching that the knowledge that we are getting in the United States. I'm taking example of the knowledge that we are getting in the United States. It's taught to solve United States problems. It's we can use those knowledge to because of the globalization, etc. We can use those knowledge to solve African problems, but it's not always. It's not solving all African problems. So that's what
I think that's very interesting. You see, I've seen the debate from Africa when they say some of the doctors, they were I mean, they study here abroad and then they have the degrees, they have the knowledge that some of them even work here before they go to Africa. Once they went to Africa to work, they didn't find all the environment that will allow them to apply their knowledge.
Right.
Either probably they don't have the machines that in the hospital that should allow them to do the job that they needed. I mean, they were struggling a lot until some of them went back to where they come from. They went back abroad because they see like their knowledge is more valued when we study than their own countries.
Yeah, it's undervalued.
I think it's
sometimes because of a lack of
materials and
sometimes
the politics, like you said,
the political outlet, the political
probably
not
corruption most of the time.
Sometimes.
I think that's very interesting. So I think let's go now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the political outcloud.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to another question, probably my last one. I just want to know, like we have seen though, there are a lot of advantages and some disadvantages. So if we want to see, I don't want to say advice. If we want to see from the perspective of the future, so what should our country do to benefit from this movement of its citizens abroad to study?
Well, left to me, for everybody that are moving abroad, if the government of the day, our government, if they are supporting people like making our exchange rate to be very, very stable. I could remember my very first year was an hell. Before I left Nigeria, I think the equivalent of dollar to Nigeria was a certain amount of money. When I got to USA,
it's dropped.
Our naira has dropped drastically, so that affected me a lot. So if the government could make it as much as possible to make foreign exchange very, very stable for international students, it will go a long way. It will ease our problems. So also I don't see any reason why we can't have enough scholarship for people studying abroad that are having good grades.
From our countries.
That are having good grades. When we got here to the United States of America, I could remember my first year and my second year. After I got good grade, the school gave me a scholarship of about, I can't remember the amount that was given to me, but it was like a relief for me, So if our government back in Africa, if they could support us with all these financial, needs, it will go a long way. It will, and so also I feel it is high time for our leaders in Africa to attract people that studied abroad with very, very lucrative job in Africa. Attract them with good job. When you attract us with good job, we will have reasons to go back home and, whatever knowledge we've acquired there, whatever exposure we've acquired, we'll be able to put it in our nation. So I feel if all these things are in place and, I feel people will go back home and they will definitely bring back whatever knowledge we've gained here. And so also security is very, very important. I'm from Nigeria. I know how much students are facing in terms of security, and even farmers they are facing in terms of security. Our leaders in Africa, we urge you, we are pleading to you, help us to work on this. If all these are in place, a whole lot of people will migrate back to Africa and to improve the economy.
Thank you very much. I think it's very, very, very interesting, and I hope they will listen to us and they will make things better for us. Lisa, do you have something to add?
I think Gigi pretty much said all of this. To have very stable currency exchange rate. And one thing that I'm planning on highlighting is like I would suggest our government to have a vast program that will help us integrate once we once we are done studying, once we are done with abroad and decide to come back home, to create a very stable and vast program that will help us integrate very easily. Because sometimes we can, study here, get a very, lucrative job and get a very strong degree knowledge and stuff. Once we go home and try to integrate ourselves, create a job, sometimes some government might have, some unstable political, unstable political and sometimes a very, I don't know how to, qualify those kind of political, just let's say unstable political that will prevent us from, doing our job right, from integrating and doing our
kind of corruption.
Do corruption and some other the nasty things and stuff. So that will prevent us from doing our job right, creating business and also helping our community. Just to have a very strong political and stable, politics here that will help us, integrate ourselves.
Thank you very much, Asa. And I think you said a very interesting things, and as the same as Adedeji. I think now what I just probably want to add more, on what you already said is, our government. I saw that when we faced the corona at that time, because there was a lot of struggle about international students that couldn't find the way when this situation arose. Yeah. I just want to, add that probably our government should have the record of its students abroad and the situation that they're facing, so that they can be in communication with the, probably if they cannot be situation directly with the government, they can be at least in communication with the embassies, that we have here, So they should know how many students we have abroad, what's the situation about them, if they having problem, how should they do, to contact us, something like that. I think most of the government should have something like that. Right?
What you just said is very pertinent and very important. The government should also have a record of every of his citizens, studying abroad. So that way he can say sometime doing a program like not a program, but sometime doing a kind of a conference where he will be, where he will where he will invite all the foreign students in the country,
embassy or whatever.
In the embassy, so they can come and highlight the problem that they are facing and what kind of solution that
government can provide.
So I think those kind of conferences and those kind of steps will help a lot of people willing to come back home and understand people a lot and try to change a lot of stuff.
Adedeji, you said something about if our government can finance us, and when you say second, probably like give us the scholarship and that. When I came first, when I met my American friends, some of them were thinking that our government are giving us sponsoring our studies here.
Yeah, in the real sense, we have a lot of people that are from good countries and they are being sponsored. When I was in, university for my second degree, I had a couple of friends from Saudi Arabia. They were on full scholarship. I have a couple of friends from Egypt. They came to do exchange programs, and it was sponsored by their government. So it actually depends on
the government
country you are from.
That's really
this is a good thing.
It will be hard to
people and to encourage international students.
That same thing like you said, I've seen it when I was reading last time when we were preparing this about France. France also had they had like the fund that they financing the citizens when they decide to go abroad to seek the degree, and depending on what degree they're going to seek, there is this kind of amount that they put out. I think something like that is good. Probably our government, we know our situation, our economical situation. We don't ask them to do much like that, but at least they should do something. Not doing anything is not good to do at all, right? I think this is already good. If you guys have something to add, probably you can add. Otherwise, we can.
Thank you guys for always joining us. Thank you guys for always looking out for our videos. We promise to give you more, and just stick around. Thank you.
Thank you, Adedeji. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for all of you guys. Stay connected and